Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first 3D Hangout. This is our very first episode.
Look, Mom, I has show. Yeah, I think this is the first live weekly 3D printing show.
That's right. The only place where you can come and see prints fail live. It's pretty exciting.
Every week, we'll meet you right here to hang out and chat about 3D news, projects, design, and more. I'm Matt Griffin, the host, Director of Community and Support here at Adafruit. And with me at Adafruit South are Noe and Pedro.
Thanks, Matt. I am Noe Ruiz here, a designer at Adafruit. Joining me is Pedro.
Hey guys, I'm Pedro Ruiz, Adafruit's technologist here. So before we launch into the first show, Matt, why don't you tell us what we're all doing here?
If you've watched our blog over the last few years, you've seen a lot of 3D coverage. And this has been ramping up lately. We've seen even more intersections between 3D printing and electronics. So this has us excited about sharing more projects with you.
Yeah, totally. Me and Pedro, we work really hard every week to bring you guys a new project video with a very detailed guide on the Adafruit learning system to hopefully inspire you to incorporate DIY electronics in your 3D printed projects.
That's right. We've developed lots of tips and tricks and want to share them with each other and with you. So let's get the show started.
Yeah, what's on the show today, Matt?
First, we have 3D news.
Yes, all the news that's fit to print.
That's right. Every week we scour the net and find interesting 3D printing stories.
Then in a weekly video.
That's right. Our original project video will debut in just a few moments.
That's right. This week it's a wearable project for your face.
And then the layer by layer segment.
This is the segment where we break down some of the design processes that went into designing the project.
That's right. This week we're going to show you how to fuse two different types of materials together.
And the last segment is the community spotlight.
Yes, we love celebrating and highlighting all makers and events and communities that's going around in the DIY 3D printing community.
This week, a crowd printing project to build a giant Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, Benjamin.
All about the G's.
We'll also share what's on our build platforms, tease you with sneak peeks of future projects, experiments, and throughout all of it, try to keep printing. And hopefully the printers keep running. So speaking of printers, what is on your platform right now? What are you guys printing?
This week we're more fixing than printing. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of problems with our TAS4.
That's right. The resistor melted inside the heat block, but the quick customer service quickly shipped out a replacement 4.7 ohm resistor. So about 15 minutes of switching it out, and we were back up and running. Right now we're printing some little test designs here for a future project. Some little cute.
And that's with the extruder with the 175 modification, right? That you guys did?
Yeah. So we're trying to keep the temperature cooler this time. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Well, yeah, I'm printing this week over here on a couple of projects on the TAS3 that I have here by my desk.
Yeah, it seems like you were blowing up some squirrels, huh?
Yeah.
Look at the squirrel.
I have this stone squirrel I use usually for just scan testing, and it's a pretty good project to be picked up by scanners. So it's kind of a cheat, but it's a good way to see how a scan works, and then look at the results. Well, I finally have a printer I can print a 1-to-1 copy. So I've started. I did the first 4 inches yesterday before wheeling this over here. So I will have, this would be a nice pencil holder. Yeah, I'll have that. And then on the Rep 2, the MakerBot Adafruit Edition, I've been printing loads of these, and we'll be sharing about that during the community spotlight later. This is part of the We the Builders project. And I have a fleet of simples. We have the simples that the a bunch of the staff put together, and I have my own, and I've been playing around with Octoprint. I'll share about it more in like further episodes, but
yeah, cool.
Octoprint is fantastic.
Yeah, and this past weekend you were at the 3D printing shootout put on by Meg.
Yep. Yeah. So we haven't announced any results yet. The magazine won't come out until
November, right?
November, I think late November. But it was really a lot of fun to get together with a whole bunch of people from the 3D printing community from all over. People who I've seen at various events, at maker fairs and conferences, but to all sit together and try to kind of, bang our minds up against, how we can possibly compare apples to apples when these printers sort of approach things so differently.
Yeah.
And there's some really great new additions this year. Andreas Bastian made these really cool test objects, each of which kind of tests like one factor. And he's about to share them. I think if they're not up on Thingiverse and you imagine now, they'll go up pretty soon. Maybe beginning next week. So when I know they're up, I'll definitely share links for how to get to them. So we tested 22, 23 machines, and they were
so many parameters.
Printing really well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How did we carried the PrinterBot Simple Metal and the TAS4. Were those models at the shootout?
Yeah. Yeah, those were there, and they performed really well. I'm not going to share any of the results, and frankly, the good news is how well so many of them performed. Looking at the same kind of tests, because I helped organize the first shootout challenge, I guess now 3 years ago, and I think only half those machines could have completed all of the tests at that point. I mean, there was still sort of a growing period going on, but now everything there, we were able to print the parts and showed sort of different approaches, different kind of innovations and how to do stuff. So I can't wait to share more about it. And I know you guys have been curious about some of the printers coming out and how they perform differently.
Yeah, definitely. So many parameters to set up, so much different material, all the settings. I mean, yeah, it's got to be a really long, drawn-out review. Can't wait for that.
Cool. So you guys jump on to the next project?
Yeah, let's jump into the news segment. So,
awesome. Okay, so now we're debuting our project video.
Well, we have to do 3D news first.
Oh, that's right, 3D news.
Okay, so first, if you haven't gone there today, go and check out the blog. Every Thursday, we share so many pieces about the latest things that are going on in 3D printing, and please go and enjoy and send us blog tips if we're missing things that you think are really exciting. And so one project I wanted to share about I thought was really cool is this one, this design project. So people have done this kind of work before, but I thought this was a really great example of it. So it's a biomimicry chair by artist Lillian Van Dahl. And so the challenge was to see about how to make a chair that really feels like a chair, has cushioning sort of built into the materials, and print the whole thing in one type of material. I think it's all printed in nylon. But by working out sort of an approach to the infill, which he, in this case, modeled, but it should be possible to sort of dynamically create it, you could actually create this cushioning experience, even though all the material was hard. So it's another way to think about manufacturing with 3D printing. Think about, maybe you don't have an approach to a printer, or maybe the materials are too expensive to print, and all the various materials you might want to manufacture something. But if you can find ways to use to learn from nature, in this case, how plant cells, even though they're fairly similar, they can be stacked and arranged in such a way that you create a huge range of material properties across the form. It gives you a lot of freedom working with even one material or two materials to create pieces that we'd integrate with in a different way. I mean, that's sort of a sneak preview to when we get to the next segment, because you guys worked with two different materials but made it sort of fused it into one as part of the process. Yeah,
this gives me an idea, like maybe making a NinjaFlex pillowcase or something to use in infill as like a cushiony thing. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's some of the stuff that interests me, like what type of infills are they using to over the little parts that bend and things like that. Like what settings are they using for all that?
Really?
Yeah. I look forward to finding when people find dynamic ways to do it. Right now, I believe he sort of hand-coded it. So speaking of sort of interesting custom approaches to things, there were a couple projects on the blog, and for this maybe I'll just jump to the blog itself that show, I guess one was a couple of weeks ago and one was just this past week. These were approaches to 3D printing ice cream. And so the original one, and I wanted to go to the blog here so you could see the process that they set up, which is pretty unusual. So they put together all kinds of elements and kind of repurposed this solid doodle for the mechanical element down at the bottom, so that they could then print these items in ice cream. So at the same time they were doing this, there was another project right here that just launched. I just moved off of it, and they did sort of the opposite. They have a type of paste extruder that's designed for food. This is Robots in Gastronomy, and this is their sort of prototype, the food form 3D printer, which it's not really out yet. And it's sort of an interesting process. They actually printed down onto a surface that
That's what
do they call this? The polyscience anti-brittle. So it does the cooling. So they were able to, instead of creating the more elaborate process so they could work with traditional ice cream to create a kind of soft serve printing style thing, they instead found a way to deliver ice cream onto a surface and use the cooling properties of the surface to help kind of hold the results together, so they could 3D print ice cream. It's sort of fun to see food challenging people to approach 3D printing in very different ways. Anyway, those are two areas I want to share right now, and want to jump right on to your segment to share about the wearable you have in front of you.
Yeah, sure, totally. So this week our project is a wearable video display. Yeah, that's right. So a couple of designs that are out there right now are all boxy. They're held together by rubber band and tape and glue. So we thought we could do better and come out with a totally customizable, very curvy, dual printed video display goggle for use in a multitude of different projects.
Yeah,
if you're somebody like maybe you're a gamer, you want a personal heads-up display, or maybe you're a camera operator and you want something better than a HUD over an HD monitor, this is a pretty cool project.
Yeah, so we're using our very popular 5.6-inch TFT display, using a 9-DOF motion sensor to do the VR head tracking, and an Arduino Micro.
Very cool. So printing these parts, a little bit special. The frame here is printed in two different materials. It's first printed in PLA for like the rigid frame, and then NinjaFlex for a sort of flexible hood that will fit over your face.
Yeah, so the secret here is to print the PLA first, and then the NinjaFlex on top of that. And a lot of the 3D printers have the filament change option available in there. And that was one of the things that got us before, because we were trying to do the NinjaFlex first and then the PLA on top, and it just didn't work.
Very cool. And the real cool thing about this is that we designed sort of an intricate bracket that allows all the components to be fastened into the faceplate using machine screws. So it's really secure. It's not using any glue or any tape like that.
Yeah, we're using cool little standoffs to elevate it and have it cooled, because the driver board and the control board, they're pretty close to the monitor there, and we don't want it to overheat.
Pretty cool. And if you want to make this into like a DIY Oculus Rift, we also have a faceplate that has two spherical lenses for sort of doing stereoscopic video.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of VR head tracking games that are really immersive, and we have little rails in here that let you then make it act like a diopter, so you can bring it closer or further away from your face.
Very cool.
That's great. So if you're curious about this stuff, then you can dive in and make it. That's really great. One thing I wanted to bring up that Noe and I were talking about the other day, we'd both done experiments in printing
Dual printing, yeah.
NinjaFlex first, and then like PLA on top of that, and have it fail totally. Mm-hmm. And you guys, by flipping that over, made a solution that looks especially to camera, like it's completely native, like it's completely the same material.
Yeah, it's very. You can't see the transition at all through it. So it's
The
very
materials
cool
look very the same.
technique.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah. So let's jump into our layer by layer and go over how we actually built this.
Yeah, sure.
So all the solids are available on learn.adafruit.com, and there you can completely customize all of it. So down to the lenses, the cheek, your head, brow, your nose, everything can be customized to, say, make a bigger monitor or turn it into a virtual Game Boy.
That's cool. So the base sort of shape is just sort of a path, one path, right?
Yeah, so after you measure your face, you can insert all of those measurements into your favorite vector drawing program, update the sizes on that, export a SVG, bring that into your favorite CAD program. Here we're using 123D, and we're going to make a copy of that and shell that out, and sort of sandwich those pieces together. That'll act as the connection for the hood.
Very cool. These are the mounting system for the lenses. So I think you include like all the little channels that sort of make the thing snap together, and you're reusing the gaskets that come with the lenses so that it stays in place without any glue or anything like that.
Yeah, like everybody has a different face, everybody has different eyesight, so you can totally customize your bifocal aspheric lenses out of that. They are biconvex, meaning that they bulge at either side. So we have a little lip ring here that just holds that in place, and then we tap it on there with the little gaskets that come in. You don't have to use glue or anything like that. You can switch those out.
So the shape that sort of looks organic and kind of curves and has that contour for your face, it's just like a regular cylinder or a series of cylinders that make this that make the cutout.
Yeah, so there's 3 cylinders there that you have to measure. So you measure the top of your head, divide that by 2, and add that to the radius of the cylinder there. You'll do that for your cheek and your nose as well, and all the sizes and all the solids are available there.
This is what it looks like when you sort of merge the two or subtract from it, and you get this sort of base layer, and then I guess you would prototype that and see if it fits on your face.
Yeah, prototype that until you have a nice comfortable fit on your face, and then you can move on to the next part.
Very comfortable.
How many different shapes did you guys try before you found this one?
I think at least 4 different designs. But we've got, hopefully, I have a universal face shape.
It's a little tough to measure the contour like that. And then this is the faceplate, right? This is where the actual screen gets poked through, and it looks like on the side there, it's where the 9DOF motion sensor gets mounted. And then you have these 2 little tabs on the side. I'm thinking those are where you're going to mount screws to this place.
That's right. That's how it's connected back to the hood part.
Cool. Oh, cool. And it looks like we have another addition to our Adafruit library that we have on 123D. So we model all the components. In this case, it's the 9DOF motion sensor. It has all the mounting holes and everything in the right place, so you can reuse this in your project.
That's right.
This is my favorite part of like the design, right? It's this cool little bracket. It's real intricate, and it has standoffs that are in the right spot so that all the components mount to that faceplate. Do you have that there?
Yeah, it's this little guy right here that's just holding everything in place, holding the controller board and the driver board for the monitor.
That's cool.
Cool part about this is that we include, of course, all the solids, meaning that you can update any of the machines or any of the screws sizes, anything you may have lying around.
Right. And this is like what, number 2 or 3 screws?
For our design, yes, we use number 2 half-inch screws, but you can update it to any ones that you may have.
All right, and that's what it looks like. All nice.
Yeah, why use a evasive mount when you can invent your own continually updatable parametric mount? That's cool.
And then you sort of offer it in 2 different flavors, right?
Yeah, so you can have the wire either sticking out of the top or the bottom, depending on what your use is. And you choose that. You include all of the holes, so if you update to a bigger monitor, you can just print out a new copy.
Very cool. This is what the final design looks like, and we'll just switch over to this camera so that we can see a little bit more better. There you go.
So here we go. Design
We're all waiting for you to put it on your face, Pedro. I only have the prototype.
And we sell actually the goggles where I got the headband for that. Yeah, they're quite comfortable.
Oh, cool. Those are the headband from the goggles. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have these little tabs on the side here so that you can put whatever type of head elastic band that you want. That's where it goes.
Check out all the files on learn.adafruit.com. Of course, show us your pictures of any modded designs you may come up with.
Yeah, and definitely check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System for all the settings and how to do this.
Yes.
And pick yourself up some Ninja Flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that design seems to stay on your head really well. What's the longest that you've worn it so far? Have you tried like walking like down the street with it, that kind of thing?
No,
Not really. Probably like 10 minutes. It's really weird when you're wearing it and then you're using it as a camera monitor because it's really like feels like meta. It's like really meta. It's like I'm moving but nothing's moving. It's a weird experience.
Yeah,
but
one
it's
of the
pretty
cool
interesting.
experiments that we tried is using it as a periscope, so you can have it on and have a camera and just look over a wall or anything like that.
Or maybe if you want like a Lady Gaga cosplay. Maybe, whatever.
I love it. Make an aquarium out of it. Cool. Well, speaking of people doing custom work and sharing it back, we had a message that was really sweet this week from Jason. He says, I'm totally new to 3D printing and was very interested in the Raspberry Pi Game Boy project. So I started looking for places that could print the case. Turns out, in my own backyard, we have a local community college-based Fab Lab, which is open to the public. They were able to print the Pi Boy case, and it turned out amazing. Just wanted to share the results. So
it looks amazing.
We love seeing when people take advantage of our resources and go and try to make things. And that's a project that's been very popular. It does take a
really
while to
proves how you don't need a 3D printer to do our projects. You probably have one in your backyard.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And then the step up for that is him, getting more interested and then editing some of the shapes inside there, adding, a speaker or anything like that.
People are doing that.
Nice. Well, speaking of community projects, we have our community spotlight. So this week I wanted to pick the We the Builder project. This is a project that I found really interesting. It's one that I helped out with at the beginning, but it's really sort of taken steam on its own steam now. So so Todd Blatt, who's a maker that probably anybody who's following the 3D printing community will be aware of all his interesting replica projects and designs, and he shows up at maker fairs with jewelry and talks, all sorts of things. He had an idea for doing a crowdfunding project, crowd-sourced printing project where you can print something really bigger than the build platform. And he'd been working on this for a couple of years and pulled in the designer Ryan Kittleson, who's a really talented instructor in 3D design. And so I wanted to share about what they're up to this year. So let's see here. I have that for you guys. Here. Great. So the first project was George Sorsington. You can go to the blog around midnight. I shared this. And let's see.
Here's to chop Benjamin's face up into hundreds of pieces so that lots of people can print him.
Yep. So here's the site and the new project. So We the Builders. It was an art project started at Art Bytes Hackathon in Baltimore, Maryland. Todd and Ryan invited some other people to join. Marty McGuire, Amy Hurst, and David, and they all worked together to make a platform that would make it possible for people to participate all around the world. And this was the result, the first one, George Sorsington, which was an unusual George Washington bust that actually has a lot of significance in Baltimore. It was there's a Washington Monument in Baltimore, and it was this statue in the base. And it's unusual in that it's like a young George Washington. The Washington Memorial was being renovated, and so the statue was in the museum. So we were able to get help 3D scanning it, and with a really nice scan, sliced it up. People all around the world printed it, and so now the new project is Ben. So in the ensuing time, like 6-9 months since the last one, this project kind of learned a little bit from the previous ones and focused on how to make it really fun for a lot of people to participate. So the pieces are smaller. They're all cut in NetFab so that all the sides are truly flat. And you can, it made it a lot easier for you to go and sign up for parts and sort of get in a queue. And within 24 hours, I think a quarter of the pieces had already been claimed and are actively being printed all over. So you can go and sign up and print one out and mail it in. And Todd is going to glue them all together and have them for the Maker Faire circuit. So I contributed some and uploaded them. And I have my little bin right here.
Oh, nice.
So you never know what you're going to get. It randomly picks them. So
Right.
it's hard to tell what surface you have. I'm pretty sure this is part of the neck. But,
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah.
but this, which has almost no specific details, I don't know what that is.
It's the infill. Holy crap.
So it's been a lot of fun. People all around the world are participating in this, and it's sort of fun watching people print these in all kinds of materials and customize, signing on the inside where they're like marking what part is and sending them in. So we'll see the final result. But you might have seen the previous one sitting over behind me for a while after the 3D print show in the winter. It was sitting up on a shelf, so people would walk in and they'd see this massive George sort of looming in the distance. Anyway, it's a neat project.
Real quick, Matt, where can people find out more about that?
Yeah, they can go to wethebuilders.com.
All right.
And yeah, it's just a community project to try and see if it works for everybody to send in the pieces in time for the September 1st deadline.
Very cool. Can't wait to see that.
So that's all of our show for this week. So don't forget to check out all the posts on the blog today. There'll be many things to check out, even more than what we had a chance to talk about today. And 3 Thursday doesn't end with our Hangout.
That's right. Everybody at home, please check out our YouTube video and check out our guide on the Adafruit Learning System for all the details on how to build the project at home.
That's right. As Matt mentioned, don't forget our hourly ongoing coverage of all things 3D printing on the Adafruit blog. Subscribe to our Adafruit channel. Follow us on Twitter, G+, Instagram for all the behind the scenes of future projects.
And we'll see you next week, same time, same place. And until then, we'll keep on printing.
All right, and we'll leave you with a moment of printing.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.